I did not know that.
Thanks for stopping by. I did not know that. Please like and subscribe.
I'll think about it.
That's all I ask.
Alfred Hitchcock was one of the most famous directors in the 20th century. One of the trademarks of his films is that he would often pop in for quick cameos in many of them. But did you know that Clint Eastwood directed a bit of an obscure film where he did the same thing? We'll watch that clip and even do a close-up of that appearance in just a minute. Clint Eastwood began acting in the 1950s after getting out of the service. He became friends with Burt Reynolds, and they both initially had a hard time finding work. They both were fired from Universal Studios. Reynolds said Clint was told he was fired because he talked too slow and that his Adam's apple stuck out too far. Reynolds asked why he was being fired, and they said, "Well, you can't act." He said he told Eastwood that Clint was in more trouble than he was. Clint asked him why, and Reynolds joked that he could learn to act, but that Clint couldn't get rid of that Adam's apple. And then Reynolds added that you can see that it really held Clint back. Clint's first role was in 1955's Revenge of the Creature. He only had a bit part as a lab assistant who seemed to have misplaced a rat. He had bit parts in other movies, but his career stalled until he started doing television. Here you see him in a clip of an episode of James Garner's TV show, Maverick. Eastwood discovers that Maverick is making moves on his girl, but it turns out that Eastwood's real interest in the girl was that he wanted her father's land and his money. He also had another woman on the side.
Your stage is waiting for you, Maverick.
He tried to put some muscle on Maverick and run him out of town, but that plan didn't work out so well.
Get up! Again, boy! Get him!
Not long after this, he got the role of Rowdy Yates in Rawhide, and for the next 7 years not only learned the acting trade, but he worked just as hard watching and learning how to direct. After making it big in spaghetti westerns like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, he soon became one of America's top action film stars. It wasn't long before he then also began starring and directing in his own movies like the Dirty Harry films and more westerns. So now let's get to Clint's cameo. One day I came across a film that said he had appeared in it as an actor but was uncredited. This really intrigued me and it surprised me, and so I did a little research on it. The film was a bit of an odd choice for Eastwood, and it was called Breezy. It was one of his early attempts to direct a film, and it came out in 1973. The love story starred William Holden and Kay Lenz. Holden was 55 years old by this time, but with his now well-known history of a lifetime of hard drinking, he appeared even older. Lenz was 20 but often looked even younger at times, so it's not really surprising that the film bombed at the box office. And so it's no shock that it faded away quickly and then was forgotten by many. In the following scene, you see Holden and Lenz as they walk a dog across a bridge. Okay, how many of you caught Eastwood's sneaky cameo? Let's look at it again, but this time let's slow it down and zoom in a bit on Clint. Here's the original again. Now that you know, it's easier to see. I'm guessing that few ever caught this when the film first came out, but with the advent of recording devices, it's a bit easier to catch things like this.
You love me.
Before we close out this episode, I thought it'd be fun to point out one more thing Eastwood placed in this film. The two characters decide to take in a movie one evening, and if you pay attention, the film they are going to see? High Plains Drifter with Clint Eastwood, of course. That wraps this episode up. Thank you so much for watching and supporting this channel.